Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a short version podcast to get you ready for the day, talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Was off last week. Thank you for your patience with that. Spent the week with family in Ocean City, Maryland. Great place if you've never been there. I tweeted out some pictures, but we absolutely loved it. Not able to get that trip done earlier in the summer. We had an elderly dog. Sure, everybody has been there, but wanted to make sure we did that and got away at least once before school started. So thank you for that. Anyway, we're back talking all things Pittsburgh sports, a lot of Steelers, a lot of Pirates. Well, I guess since I last did one of these, the Pirates season has changed dramatically. We'll get into their series over the weekend against the Seattle Mariners. The lead topic this week or this morning, want to talk a little bit about the Steelers and some stuff happening with them, the offensive struggles. There's certainly been some concerns about how they've moved the ball, how they haven't moved the ball. The first team offense has scored, 0 touchdowns in 8 drives. It's not great. It's the preseason. I have a tough time getting too wrapped up in any of the results. I don't think much is going to change, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that, Russell Wilson's still going to be under center week 1 against the Falcons. That's my belief. Justin Fields has done some good things. I've liked what I've seen from him in Latrobe. I liked what I've seen from him in games. The offense hasn't really moved much with Russ. It's been a lot of check down stuff, but do I really think that Russell Wilson is in danger of losing his job? No, I don't. And I think they're going to ride this through. I thought Russell Wilson gave a very good press conference interview, talked a lot about some perspective on how long this takes, the process, not worrying about it. Sure, it hasn't been great. You can evaluate it that way. The running game, at least with the first teamers, has been relatively non-existent. I thought the biggest takeaway against the Bills on Saturday was just not really throwing downfield. They didn't involve George Pickens much whatsoever. Nearly had that one catch along the sideline that the Steelers challenge didn't work out. One of the biggest things I've noticed, too, the difference between Latrobe and what has happened in stadium has just been the lack of involvement with tight ends. Pat Freiermuth has been targeted a lot. Darnell Washington has been targeted a lot. And I mean that in practice settings. Hasn't really translated into the game. Sometimes it's personnel. Sometimes it's just choice. This stuff is a process. Again, we looked at the Steelers last year, 5 drives from the first team offense, 5 touchdowns, and thought everything was great. So I can't possibly look at this, 8 drives, no points, and think from the first teamers and think that everything is terrible. I just think we need a little bit of patience here, and it's fine. One more preseason game. And hey, they might stink in the regular season, but I don't think we're going to learn it through 2 preseason games. Just filed a column I wanted to get into a little bit more here. This is on Jaylen Warren, the offensive line, the running game, kind of the offense. But you probably saw over the weekend, Jaylen Warren's going to miss 2 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean for the offense? Obviously, Jaylen Warren is going to be one half of their running back tandem alongside Najee Harris. To me, there's a lot of factors here that really line up for Najee Harris having an excellent year. I go back to July, OTAs, minicamp, that sort of thing, talking about declining the 5th-year option in his rookie contract. Said he was disappointed for a little bit, but then got back to it. Great. Anybody in Najee Harris's situation would want to prove themselves. And not only that, you're a running back, you might have 1 or 2 situations like this where you're a free agent, you can prove yourself, you can determine your value, that sort of thing. And I don't think that's why Najee Harris plays the game, but I mean, it's part of it. It's business, right? So he wants to get paid. He wants to get a mega contract. Well, there's a great opportunity for him to do that. There's a great opportunity for him to show the Steelers, even if this is, somewhat, what's the right word? Just he's mad. Say, you made a mistake. I'm going to show you that you made a mistake. Okay, great. Well, that works out really to the Steelers' benefit right now. And if Jaylen Warren is out for 2 to 4 weeks, we're talking about a quarter of the season. And at the same time, tell me if Najee Harris doesn't get this team going and they're ground and pound what Derrick Henry gave to Arthur Smith's offense in Tennessee, they're having those kind of results right out of the gate. Do you suddenly think they're going to reduce Najee Harris's carries? I don't. I would hope not. I hope you go with something that's working. And I think that it's complementary too, right? You want to work the ball downfield. You want to be able to get guys out of the box, stretch the field a little bit, work off a play action, all of these things that work into what the Steelers are trying to do. they all align with what Najee Harris wants to do personally. Now, the linchpin there, how it all links together, is the offensive line. And there's been a lot of flux there. I got into that in the column as well. I think you need to get Broderick Jones over to the left side. What happened for him against the Bills, just not good. Can't have that. I would rather him make those mistakes on the left side. Nate Herbig possibly out. Zach Frazier in. Troy Fautanu is not healthy at this point. But in any case, I like the way this looks for Najee Harris. So, all right, we're going to take a short break, have our usual message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. We'll be back on the other side, talk a little Buccos.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
Welcome back to First 10. I'm your host, Jason Mackey. The Pirates at PNC Park actually somewhat rebounded. I don't think it's equal to a 10-game losing streak, but they did snap that streak with a win Friday, a win Saturday, and not so much on Sunday. Wasn't great yesterday. I was over there on Friday and Sunday. Yesterday, Jake Woodford pitched, and it wasn't going to get it done. Left too many pitches up. They got hit hard. Frustrating. Pirates lost. They could not complete the sweep. Well, this is an important week for the Pirates, although I feel like I do say that some version of it every week. They've got series against the Rangers and the Reds. I mean, what do you have to go at this point? 5-2 to stay in the fight? Something like that. I mean, they really did some damage to their season with the 10-game losing streak and need to find a way to get out of this. And there's a lot of factors contributing toward this 3-game road trip to Texas and then what they're going to face at home with the Cincinnati Reds. A looming roster move I want to get into here briefly. Noah Hiles reported that Billy McKinney is expected to be added to the roster. He'll have to go onto the 40-man roster. Got a couple possibilities. We don't know what the corresponding move is, but one, this relates to my column today about Ke'Bryan Hayes, who talked to him about his back issues, what he's going through, how painful this has been. And I'm not making excuses for Hayes. Hayes wasn't making excuses for Hayes, but this has not been a good situation. He's not healthy. I was texting with somebody who knows Hayes quite well on Sunday. I said, what percentage do you think he's at? And I said 50%. And I'd probably agree with that. And talking to Hayes about his back issues, I tried to explain in there. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to try to diagnose anything that way. But what he described sounded an awful lot like a herniated disc. So I don't know. Does Hayes go on the IL and McKinney takes his spot? Not sure. Is it something with Andrew McCutchen? I certainly hope not. A little surprised about McKinney, though. And that's the point about the roster move I wanted to make. Don't you want to get a look at Henry Davis at some point? It's nothing against Billy McKinney. I'm sure he can come up here and contribute. But we saw the same thing with Alika Williams, too. These guys, they're filling spots. They're not necessarily prospects who are big parts of your future or you've invested in, financially, developmentally, et cetera, to be a part of this thing. And Henry Davis has found it in AAA. Hasn't hit much in the big leagues, but 341 with a 904 OPS over his last 21 games with AAA Indianapolis. 5 doubles, 3 homers, 17 RBIs. It's been very good at the plate for him. And I suppose there can be an argument made for continuing to do that. And you'd also be, limiting his reps behind the plate because you're not going to sit Joey. But you might be eliminating his reps behind the plate, to be honest with you, with how much they like Yasmani Grandal, Joey Bart's your starter. So you're bringing up Davis simply to be the DH. But you know what? That's where my concerns are. My concerns are, can he consistently hit major league pitching? And I want to see him do that. So it's something to monitor throughout the rest of the regular season. I'm not quite sure why that has happened the way it has, but in any case, the Pirates have a very important series here. Luis Ortiz tonight, Mitch Keller tomorrow. Wednesday is TBD. Would imagine there's a Domingo Germán appearance in there somewhere. But the Pirates need to play better baseball. And frankly, they did over the weekend. They had some stuff go their way. Need a little bit more hitting. The bullpen needs to be stronger. David Bednar had a couple of appearances. The fastball command still not completely there, but we see the direction they're going to go, and that group needs to be good for the Pirates to get back on track, and it was not whenever they fell short. So we'll see what happens. Have a couple more Pirates topics. I'll save those for tomorrow. I wanted to get into a little bit more about Kutch, a little bit more about O'Neal Cruz. But again, we do this every day. You can check back tomorrow. We'll have another one. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all the content from me and other Post-Gazette writers in this same wonderful space. Good to be back. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.